some of them towards the sun, some of them away from the sun. What surprises me is that they are tightly collimated, and that is surprising because the object is rotating. The last time we checked, it has a rotation period of only 16 hours.
So Loeb just released a new update on 3i Atlas today, and this one might honestly be the most confusing anomaly we've seen so far. We're now officially on anomaly number 12, and somehow each one is stranger than the last. But this time, the problem isn't just unusual chemistry or weird polarization data. This time, the basic physics, the stuff we've relied on for 100 years, is breaking right in front of us. And Loeb has three theories that might explain what we're seeing, with a fourth idea that he admits is out there, but it actually matches the data disturbingly well. Before getting into those theories, though, we need to go through what the newest anomaly actually is, because this one is extremely impossible to explain. Between July and August, 7 different telescopes observed 3i Atlas to measure its rotation. Not one telescope, not two, 7. And every single one of them got the same result. The object spins once every 16.16 hours. That number is not a guess, not a one-off measurement, not some weird statistical artifact. It was measured repeatedly, consistently, and independently. So at this point, we know the rotation rate is solid. There isn't any debate there. The thing spins just a little over 1.5 times per day. Now fast forward to November 9th. We talked before about those new images showing massive jets of material coming from 3i Atlas jets stretching literal millions of kilometers into space. They're so long that they don't even fit in a single frame unless you composite the images. And Loeb calculated how long it would take for that gas to travel from the surface of the object all the way out to the end of those jets. At the speed the gas is moving, it takes around 1 full month for the material to reach that distance. Here's the issue. During that 1 month of travel time, how many times does 3i Atlas rotate? Well, if it spins once every 16.16 hours, that's about 1.48 rotations per day. Multiply that by 30 days, and you get roughly 45 rotations. So while the gas is traveling outward in a straight line, the object itself is turning around 45 times beneath it. And this is where things snap in half. Because when a rotating object in space ejects material, the gas doesn't politely stay locked to one direction. It can't. Basic Newtonian physics says it will smear out. The object keeps turning, but the gas keeps moving straight, so instead of one straight jet, you get a spiral or a curved fan pattern. This isn't speculation. This is exactly how rotating comets behave and always have. Every active comet we've ever studied produces smeared jets if it's rotating significantly. The rotation twists the outflow, and you see those beautiful corkscrew or fan-shaped structures in images from Rosetta, Hubble, ground-based observatories, everything. But the jets coming off 3i Atlas don't smear. They don't fan. They don't twist. They don't show curvature. They look like laser beams, clean, straight, extremely narrow lines that maintain a single direction over a distance of millions of kilometers. If you zoom in, they don't break up, and if you zoom out, they don't bend. There is a very clear, very sharp direction to each jet, and those directions don't match what you'd expect from a rotating natural object. And remember, the gas launches from the surface, then takes a full month to reach where we observe it. During that month, the object completes about 45 full spins. There is no known scenario in which those jets would remain straight, clean, and consistent if the rotation rate has stayed the same as what we measured in July and August. There's something else too, and it's honestly one of the strangest parts that almost nobody is acknowledging. Just a few days before these November 9th images were taken, another set of telescopic observations showed 3i Atlas with absolutely no jets at all. Nothing. No visible tails, no outgassing, nothing coming off the surface. And then suddenly, days later, we have these enormous, clean, well-defined structures extending millions of kilometers. That turn-on behavior alone is bizarre, but compared to the rotation problem, it's almost a footnote. So, with the anomaly defined, clearly let's talk about the theories. Loeb has 3 primary explanations he's considering, and then a fourth one that he doesn't necessarily endorse but can't ignore because the data lines up a little too well. Let's go through them one by one and break down why each one has serious problems. Theory 1, maybe the rotation of 3i Atlas slowed down dramatically since July. If it stopped spinning or slowed to a crawl, then the jets would not smear out because the object wouldn't be turning underneath them. On paper, that explanation works. But there's a major issue. When comets shoot off gas unevenly, the asymmetric release actually causes them to spin faster, not slower. That's one of the most basic consequences of cometary outgassing. If anything, 3i Atlas should be spinning quicker now than it was in July. And besides, we have images from November 11th showing the object is intact and rotating normally without any sign of a dramatic slowdown. So unless something catastrophic happened that left no visible trace, this theory doesn't really hold up. Theory 2. Maybe the jets only appear once per rotation caused by deep valleys with ice hidden at the bottom. The idea here is that tall mountains surround pockets of ice. As the object spins, sunlight only reaches those pockets at one exact angle for a brief window each rotation. During that window, the ice heats up and produces a short burst of gas, then falls back into shadow for the next 16 hours. That would create jets that pulse instead of continuously spraying. People have proposed similar ideas for comets before, so this theory isn't strange at all, but it has the same fatal flaw. If jets pulse every 16 hours and it takes a month for the gas to travel outward, then we should see dozens of separated bursts like a string of beads along each jet. But that's not what we see. Observations show smooth, continuous, uninterrupted jets. No visible pulses, no repeating gaps, no discrete puffs. So Theory 2 breaks down too. Theory 3, maybe 3I Atlas actually did break apart, and what we're seeing are not jets but debris trails left behind by fragments that separated. That idea would make the straight lines much easier to explain. But this has already been ruled out. Observations from multiple telescopes confirm the central object is still intact, and the light curve data doesn't show the kind of irregularities you'd expect from a breakup event. Unless the imaging is wrong or something was misinterpreted, Theory 3 doesn't fit either. Before getting into the fourth idea, the one Loeb doesn't necessarily endorse but can't dismiss, there's something worth mentioning. This isn't the first impossible thing about 3I Atlas, not even close. This is anomaly number 12, and when you line them up, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The object contains far more nickel than any comet ever documented. It only has around 4% water when comets should be mostly ice. Its polarization signature is unlike anything ever measured. It arrived almost exactly from the same direction as the Wiao signal in 1977. It brightened faster than any comet in the database, and its reflectivity doesn't match asteroids, comets, or anything we've studied. You give scientists one explanation and the next observation destroys it. Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because what's happening with 3I Atlas is getting stranger by the hour and you do not want to miss what comes next. Alright, picking back up from where we left off. What happened next was the moment everything shifted. For days, the scientific community had been cautiously optimistic, treating the changes in 3I Atlas as unusual, but still within the boundaries of cometary behavior. But then, late last night, a new sequence of deep space images leaked out from a research group in Chile, and the tone everywhere changed almost instantly. The images didn't just show the same ion tail growing or the same jets becoming more pronounced. This time they revealed something else entirely, a structure in the coma that looked like it wasn't formed by natural outgassing. A pattern, a geometry, something that shouldn't exist in an object made of ice dust and rock crossing our solar system for the very first time. Astronomers tried to downplay it at first, calling it a trick of light scattering or an imaging artifact, but every enhancement, every independent analysis showed the same repeating forms. It wasn't symmetrical enough to be artificial, but it was far too organized to be random. The kind of thing that forces people to stop talking for a moment because their brain can't decide which explanation is worse, that it's natural or that it isn't. But that wasn't even the part that set everyone on edge. Roughly 6 hours after those images circulated, the detectors monitoring charged particles near Earth picked up a sudden increase, a surge timed exactly with the latest brightening of 3I Atlas. And the direction of the influx lined up perfectly with the comet's trajectory. It was as if something in or around it had momentarily accelerated the amount of ionized material streaming into space. Natural comets don't do this. Even the most volatile ones release material in bursts, not coordinated pulses. People began comparing it to the behavior of 2I Borisov years back, but this was far beyond anything Borisov ever displayed. Whatever Atlas is doing, it's happening in a rhythmic cycle. Every few hours, another pulse, another deepening of the ion tail, another brightening, another shift in its rotational signature, almost like it's responding to something, almost like it's preparing for something. And then the strangest thing happened. An amateur astronomer in Argentina posted a video claiming that during one of the pulses, the coma around the nucleus seemed to compress inward before expanding outward with double the intensity. At first, nobody believed it, but when several observatories compared their timestamps, they confirmed the same thing. A contraction. Not just a dimming, an actual collapse of part of the coma, as though something internal pulled material inward before ejecting it back out. No known natural process explains that. That's when the more dramatic theories began circulating, theories about internal fragmentation events, about hidden secondary bodies, about dormant materials waking up as the object entered a new thermal regime. But even those explanations come with major problems. Atlas has already lost too much mass too quickly, it's already displayed far too much jet activity for something its size, and somehow against every prediction it is holding together, continuing to accelerate, continuing to brighten, continuing to evolve. Scientists at one of the major observatories, they didn't say which one, but it's one of the big ones, anonymously told a reporter that they were deeply unsettled by what they were seeing. That's the phrase they used. Not confused, not uncertain, unsettled. And that is not something astronomers say lightly. You can hear it in the interviews now. You can see it in the way research teams are suddenly speaking with a kind of nervous caution. They're not excited anymore. They're not calling it unusual or fascinating. They're calling it unprecedented, unstable, extreme, and potentially catastrophic. The new concern is that Atlas may be heading into its most volatile phase yet. The pulses are getting closer together. The brightness curve is no longer soft and gradual, it's becoming jagged, violent, like something inside is fluctuating, pressurizing, destabilizing. If Atlas is fragmenting again, it could happen soon. And if it does, the pieces may behave unpredictably, especially given the enormous amount of charged material already surrounding the object. But here's the part that gives people chills. Some of the models now show that if Atlas undergoes even one more major fragmentation event, the sheer force of it combined with the solar wind patterns in that region could produce a tail so large and so energetically charged that it becomes visible from Earth with the naked eye, not as a faint smudge or a mild blur, as an unmistakable streak of ionized gas cutting across the sky. If that happens, we won't need telescopes. We won't need enhanced images. Everyone on Earth will see it. And that possibility has scientists racing because whatever is happening with Atlas is accelerating faster than anyone expected. We're past the stage of minor anomaly. We're past the stage of unusual behavior. We are now in territory where every new observation raises more questions than answers. And the scariest part is that the next observation could change absolutely everything. Just hours after the latest images circulated, everything took another unexpected turn. A research team monitoring Atlas in infrared caught something no one was prepared for: a flicker coming from deep inside the coma. Not a normal brightening, not another jet, but an actual internal obstruction, like something rotating inside the dust cloud and briefly blocking its own thermal signature. At first they thought it was a sensor glitch. Then it happened again and again. Within minutes, other observatories confirmed the same pattern, a rhythmic repeating signal coming from inside Atlas. Something inside it is moving in a way no natural debris field should. That's when the theories changed. Some astronomers now think Atlas might be hiding a compact secondary core, a dense fragment that survived earlier breakups and is now rotating independently. That would explain the pulses, the sudden brightening cycles, the expansions and contractions of the coma. It means Atlas isn't simply shedding mass, it's reorganizing itself. But the most unsettling moment came right after the flickering event. In the middle of one of those pulses, Atlas produced a single sharp flash from deep within the dust, bright, localized, and gone in less than a second. Hours later, Earth's particle detectors recorded a matching spike, perfectly timed. Scientists won't say what it means yet, but everyone agrees on one thing: Atlas is entering its most volatile stage. The pulses are accelerating, the brightness curve is erratic, every new reading contradicts the last. If another major event happens, another pulse, another collapse, another flash, Atlas could fragment again. And if it does, the outburst could produce a tail so massive and so charged that it becomes visible across Earth's night sky without any equipment at all. We are watching something unfold that no one alive has ever seen. The transformation of an interstellar object under extreme solar stress happening in real time. And whatever 3i Atlas is turning into, the reveal is coming soon.